So you've decided to join Fiverr as a voiceover artist, but don't know how to set your rates as a beginner. Stick around, I'll show you. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today I'm going to walk you through how to set your gig rates for Fiverr as a voiceover artist. Here we go. First of all, this is me. I'm a top-rated seller on Fiverr and also a Fiverr trainer. So everything I share with you today is stuff that I have done with my own voiceover business on Fiverr. So let's get into it. Before you create a new gig, I would highly recommend doing this. Going up to your profile picture, click Switch to Buying. So using the search bar up here, we're going to type in voiceover. And before you hit enter or the search button, take note of what words are coming up when you type in voiceover or narration or narrator or audiobook. Anything related to what you're creating your gig for, take a note of what words are being populated here, because just like Google, it's going to autofill or suggest terms that are most often searched for. And you can use these words in your gig title or in your tags, which I will show you. So we have female voiceover, voiceover as two words, not voiceover as one word, North American voiceover as one word, opera singer, Hindi, Urdu, British. So we have a lot of other languages or dialects that we're looking for as well, or clients are looking for rather. But female voiceover, voiceover as two words, North American voiceover, voiceover as one word, are definitely some things to keep in mind. So let's go ahead and click search. Now what we're being shown here at the top is the highlighted voice actors for the moment. Fiverr does a lot of flip-flopping people around, shuffling places to give everybody an equal shake. But what we're going to see at the top right here are more than likely voice actors that are doing well because they're being shown on page 1. And I see a lot of these people quite often, so they're doing something right. So what we want to do is just take notes of what their thumbnails look like, what the wording of their titles are, what their price points are, right? So let's just look around a little bit. So he's got a starting price of 50, starting price of 80, starting price of 35, 40, 50, 30, 100, 50, 125. So let's do this. Because you are a brand new voiceover on Fiverr, let's go up to the filters and let's select some things that apply to you. So in my case, I would go English, female. We're going to make this gig for video narration, American English. Let's just keep the age range out of there. We don't want to bring that up, but you can if you want to. Rights are pretty much common. All right, let's apply that. Let's go to our seller details. Most importantly here, we want to select a seller that is a new seller because you want to be competitive in your level. Let's go to new sellers. English. Seller doesn't, I mean, unless the client is looking for something specific, but I really wouldn't worry about where you live and apply. Okay, so here are our new sellers, which will be in the very same category as you. So let's take a look at their price points and their thumbnails. So this one is very, very striking with all the different colors and things, but she starts at 35, 5, 5, 15, 200, but she's pro, 20, 5, 5, 5, 10, 10, 10. So we're starting to see a trend here on the lower end of rates, right? 25, 100, 150, 5, 5, 5, 5, 35, 10, 40. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of 5 and seeing a lot of 10s, some 15s. Okay, so let's just pick one of these. Let's see. Let's do this one. Let's do this one here. So she's got 100 words, $5. She's got a 5-star rating, and she sold quite a bit. 662 orders at $5. So she does a lot of volume. So that is definitely something that can happen. Here's one for $10 for 100 words per the first 100 words, and 1,000 orders and a 5-star rating. So she also gets a lot of volume. So her title is, I will record an excellent female voiceover, voiceover as one word, not 2 words. Notice she's got voiceover as 2 words. So we know that it's being searched for both ways. So keep that in mind. Okay, so we have an idea of what to charge. So now let's go over to our profile, switch back to our profile here, and on your new profile, you will have Create New Gig. So click this button, and the first thing you're going to see is your gig title. This is the overview page of building your new gig. So using some of the keywords that we just saw in some of those other gigs we looked at, we kind of have an idea of what kind of verbiage we want to use. Now, you want to keep in mind that the gig that you're creating is going to be for a specific kind of voiceover, because you, as a brand new seller, I think you have 4 gigs that you could start with, and you can make each one of those gigs a completely different type of voiceover. For example, you can make one for video narration, another gig for phone greetings, another gig for audiobook narration, if you want to do that. And then your last gig you can make for something else that you offer that isn't voiceover related, or you can make that 4th gig another different type of voiceover, perhaps meditation, perhaps character voices, perhaps e-learning, right? So on and so forth. You don't have to offer every kind of voiceover with one gig. You can break them up. Casts a wider net, right? Gives you more opportunities for people to find your gig. Anyway, this particular gig, we're going to make this one for what we call the general, right? General voiceover. So it's sort of like a catch-all. Everything but audiobook. And you're like, Angela, you just said make them all different. Yes, but sometimes depending on the words the clients choose to find a seller on Fiverr, the words that they use might land on your general voiceover, or it might land on something more specific, like your phone greeting gig. It's either or. So you want to have a general gig that covers pretty much everything, because all your gigs should be the same price, apart from your audiobook narration gig, because audiobooks are priced completely differently. So this gig is going to be what we call a general or a catch-all, right? So we can call this, it always starts you out with I will. So you can add I will record and I am an American female, so I want to make sure that I add those words, because as we saw, female was being searched for and North American was also being searched for. So I'm going to put in, I'll record your North American female voiceover. Short, sweet, to the point, full of keywords, right? Voiceover as 2 words here. Okay, don't worry about capitalization. It won't let you capitalize them, so it's okay if they're not capitalized. All right. Category, we're going to go to music and audio, and our subcategory is going to be voiceover. Then you're going to scroll down to the metadata. The first thing you're going to choose is the language you speak. In my case, I'm going to put in here English. Now we have accents that we can perform. I'm comfortable with American. I don't have a French accent. This is just what applies to me. And you don't need to have 2. It just says up to 2. So if it's only 1, it's only 1. Don't worry about it. The next thing we're going to select is our gender. In my case, I am female. The purpose of this gig is another thing you want to think about. So because this is our catch-all, we can include video narration in this gig. We're not going to include audiobook because, again, audiobooks are priced completely differently than other types of voiceover. So really any of these other ones that we can add. Now, think about your clients. What are they going to be searching for? What purposes? Well, they could be searching for YouTube narration. and animation, meditation, e-learning, video games, TV, radio, dubbing, phone system, right? Podcast intros and outros, TikTok dubbing, commercials, I mean, all kinds of stuff. So if we think about what our clients are looking for, we're thinking what's hot right now. User-generated content, right? People creating videos for TikTok, but perhaps don't like their own voices. So I'm going to also include TikTok. But you can include whatever you want to, as long as it's not audiobook. All right, so the other one I'm going to choose, I think something that might be chosen a lot. How about we just do YouTube? Okay. Oops, scrolled too far, sorry. Age range, I'm just going to stick with adult. It's a broader brush stroke. Let's just stick with adult. And in your case, you would put down whatever applies. Tone, these can be any 5 you want. Again, think of what your clients are going to be looking for. So we said YouTube, TikTok, and I forget what the other thing was already. What was it? Purpose. Video narration. Okay. So if we think about those types of video narration, what are they typically? They're typically awkward, casual, cute, dramatic, maybe even sexy. But you can choose any of these as long as they relate to what you're offering, because that will help the clients find you. All right. Now, keywords. This is what we often refer to as tags. So we don't want to reuse the same keywords that we've already used in our title. You're just wasting tag space. Technically, when a client searches Fiverr for a seller, the first thing that their keywords are going to be matched against to find your gig is your title. And then it's going to be further refined by your tags. So you want to have as many good keywords in there as possible. The title, the keywords in your title and the keywords in your tags need to be different. So just to refresh, in our title, we have North American, record, female, voiceover as 2 words. So in my tags, if I scroll back down here, I'm going to include voiceover as 1 word because we also know that was searched for. And then I'm also going to include, let's see, what words would go along with video narration, YouTube. How about YouTube narration? Let's see what is being put in here. YouTube intro? No. How about YouTube? Let's just do YouTube. How about UGC for user generated content? How about, what else could we do? Promotion. Okay, promotion for like marketing. Oh, marketing, affiliate marketing, business marketing, Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing. Let's try Instagram marketing. Okay, and then we're going to save and continue. Now we get to the most confusing part, or one of anyway. So this box up here at the top is basically your basic gig offering. And that is what is going to be shown to people, just like we saw when we went and looked at other sellers' offerings on that search page. This is what those clients are going to see, what's in this box here. So for this box includes X amount of words, X amount of revisions for X price, right? I highly recommend using 100 words for your base gig. I don't know why it works, but it does. And as you noticed in those gigs that we saw earlier, most everybody else was offering 100 words. So we're going to start at 100 words. You can offer as many revisions as you want to. I do recommend 1, and we'll make sure that we clarify our revision policy in building this gig. But for now, we're going to offer 1 revision. And a revision is change of tone or pace. And you can even specify up to the number of words that revision includes, right? So revision to tone of pace up to 300 words. Mistakes that you make are typically free. They're not counted as a revision technically. But most importantly, a revision is not change of script. You and the client have come into an agreement by placing an order with a script that hopefully you've already seen, or a script that was provided at the time of order. If the script is changed at all after the order is placed, and then that is new work. that is something that you can prorate and charge the customer accordingly. A revision is not change of script. A revision is change of tone or pace. But if you and the client have had a really good conversation about what they need and what you can provide as far as tone, pace, audience, all of those things, then there shouldn't be a need for a revision. But I offer one so that way the customer feels a little bit better about changing things later if they need to, as far as tone and pace. Now, the base price, this is where it's up to you. If you want to really be competitive and get that social proof perhaps faster, and when I say social proof, I mean reviews, that star rating, right? Because that will help definitely start building your foundation on Fiverr faster, the more reviews you can get. This is where you can choose either $5 or $10 for that 100 words. And you can choose whatever price you want to. You don't have to start at $5 or $10. You can start at 35. You can start at 50. We did see there were other people offering that. But if you really want to better your chances at getting that social proof faster, start at a lower price point. And you might also see a lot more volume at that price point too. Totally up to you, whatever you want to do. And you can always change these prices later. Everything in this gig is editable, changeable. You can update your pricing. You can, increase your pricing later if you want to. The only thing you cannot change on your profile is your username. Everything else can be changed. Your thumbnails, your demos, your pricing, everything. So you can always increase it later if you want to, just as a side note. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to start with 5. Now, each additional words, you could do each additional 100 words is another $5, just to make it easy math. So if someone contacted you and said, I have a script of 300 words, it would be $15, right? Because every 100 words is $5. Easy math. But if you want to, you can make this each additional 75 words for $5, or each additional 50 words is $5. So if it was a 300-word script, then that would be $25, right? It's up to you how you want to do this, but the base gig would be 100 words for $5, and that's what the client's going to see. So totally up to you how you want to math this, but for the sake of this, we're going to leave it at 100 just to make it easy math. Now, the delivery time, people see a big number of words, like 1,000 words, and it sounds like a lot, but in reality, it's not. It's less than 5-6 minutes of narration. If you figure normal pace of speech is about 150 words per minute. So 1,000 words is roughly about 6 minutes of narration. So what you could do in here is up to 1,200 words. That's about 10 minutes of narration. I recommend starting out with 2 days. That gives you an extra day of buffer. And if the client does want a 1-day delivery, then they can pay the express fee to get that 1-day delivery. But I recommend having 2-day buffer in order for the delivery time of 2 days instead of 1. So each additional 1,200 words would be an additional day. So if this script was 2,400 words, then it would give you 3 days to get this done, which is about 20 minutes of narration, roughly. Now, when you get to the upgrades down here, these are add-ons. Think of them as a la carte options. So the extra fast delivery, and within 1 day, I can deliver up to 1,200 words. And this would be your express fee. So how much would you want to charge to give the client their order up to 1,200 words delivered in 1 day? So I'm going to say $25. You can make it whatever you want to. So with this option, if the client has that 2,400 word script, they would get it in 2 days, not 3 days. If that makes sense. Script proofreading is something that I recommend if you have a client that is perhaps from another country and just wants someone, a native English speaker, to sort of massage the script a bit so it flows and makes more sense. You can offer this service by clicking this button. And then you can specify how many words for this charge, right? So if it was 200 words, let's just say, you can charge $5 per 200 words to proofread, or $10 or $15 or 500 words for $10, however you want to configure it. Now, commercial rights and full broadcast rights are definitely necessary for voiceover. And the usage rights goes like this. It's tiered usage. So if the voiceover that they're ordering from you is going to be used to promote a product, service, or business online at all, like on their website, on social media, whatever it is, they need commercial rights. In up and above and beyond that, if they're going to take the voiceover that they're paying you to do is going to be used in paid advertising, like they're going to be using Facebook ads or YouTube ads or Instagram ads, Google ads, on TV, on the radio. They're paying to promote that voiceover for whatever product, service, or business. Then in addition to commercial rights, they also need full broadcast rights, both. So commercial rights is going to be whatever you want to start it out at. I would say $20 is probably a good spot. And then commercial rights could be 30, 40, 50, right? If you think about how far your voice is going to go, they're purchasing the permission from you to use your voice, basically. The high quality audio file wave format, your voiceover should always be delivered as a wave. It's a higher quality format. We don't charge extra for that. The only time you would be sending them an MP3, a smaller compressed version of your voiceover, is if they're asking you for it. So we don't charge extra for this. Timed audio sync I don't use because it does say per 60 seconds, and clients don't sometimes see or realize what per 60 seconds means. So if they want you to, and if you have the ability to, add your voiceover to a video that's 2 minutes long, they would need to select 2 of these. Because if you select these, you can see that we can say it'll take an additional day or whatever. But if you make this $10 to sync their voiceover for a second, the client would have to choose 2 of these for a 2-minute video, 4 of these for a 4-minute video, so on and so forth. And they never do that. They don't realize that it's per 60 seconds. So I don't use this one. You can do something different, and I'll show you that down below. Split files. This is basically if they gave you, let's just say, a phone greeting script, but it needed to be broken down into 5 separate prompts. You can split those into individual files for them if they don't have the ability on their end. Now, clients are sort of 50-50 with phone greetings. Some of them have the ability to split the files on their own. Some of them don't. So if they want you to do it, you can charge for that. And you could say, it'll take me an extra day to do that, although splitting files only takes seconds to do. So I don't charge any additional days, but I do charge a $5 fee. It's basically $1 a file. If the client wants to purchase additional revisions up front, above and beyond the one free one you already offer, then they're welcome to do that. It adds a little bit more transparency and trust with clients. So an additional revision, $20 perhaps. If you have the ability to add background music to whatever it is that you're creating, then you can add background music. I usually ask for an additional day because mixing music takes a little bit longer. And then you could charge $10, $15, $20, whatever you want. These 2 are relatively new. If you want to break down your rights even further, I would say instead of these 2, you could offer these 2 for a year. So you're giving permission instead of in perpetuity. You're limiting down your permissions to use your voice. And you mainly see this in commercials and things for 1 year only. These you could make whatever price you want to, or you can offer both, in perpetuity or for just a year. It's up to you. Live direction is another new one. And this is for the client to meet with you via Zoom and direct you live over the internet. So they can do this if you want. And you could I would definitely give yourself an extra 2 days, because sometimes timing conflicts, meeting conflicts is something that we deal with. And you could do $50, $100, and then you can specify how long the call should be or how long the session time will be. So if you want to say All right, client, I will give you 30 minutes. We can meet for 30 minutes while you direct me through this, and 30 minutes will be $50, or 30 minutes is $100. You can do that. That's basically what all of these things are. Now, for this timed audio sync, I offer this as a flat fee. So if you want to add that, you can add a gig extra. This is a custom gig extra. And I would call this one audio sync, or video sync, probably would be better. Video sync. And then you could specify in here, add your voiceover to your video. Actually, let's get rid of your, because you might run out of words here. Add voiceover to your video. Up to, you can even specify here how long you're willing to do this, like how long of a video you're willing to do this for. Up to 20 minutes, maybe. And then you can say for this 20 minutes, it's a flat fee. So if it's 5 minutes, it's 50, you get $50. If it's 10 minutes, you get $50. If it's 20 minutes, you get $50. If it's a hour-long video, they would have to select 3 of these, right, or more to cover the hour. And then, of course, additional days, because mixing voiceover into video takes a little bit of time as well, or can take in some instances. If you want to add an additional custom gig extra, you can do that here. Now, subscriptions is something we don't really use in voiceover, so we're not going to address those here. But we're going to save and continue. Now, your description is something that the description is shown on your gig page. So this is where you want to describe exactly what the client's going to get with this gig. So you want to describe your voice, how easy it is to work with you. You also want to include anything that you do not do. Like down at the bottom, if you do not absolutely do anything with religion, politics, explicit content, anything that makes you uncomfortable is a hard stop for you. Make sure you list that down here at the bottom as well in your description. Now, milestones, I get questions on. Milestones is if you want to break the order. If it's usually this is used on large orders. If you want to break down the order into pieces, and then you get a payment every time one piece is complete. I don't really do milestones for Fiverr, but you can if you want to. I just do one price, one-time projects. Frequently asked questions. This is where you want to at least include a definition of commercial rights, full broadcast rights, what they are, how much you charge for them, and why the client needs them. And you also want to include your revision policy. This is very important. Your revision policy, and you want to form the question as a question. What is your revision policy? And then your answer below it would be, revision is change of tone or pace, up to 300 words, whatever you determined before. If the script is changed after the order is placed, that may incur an additional fee, right? Mistakes, of course, are on me. I will gladly fix any mistakes that I make, but you do get one free revision with each order for change of tone or pace. The next page you're going to come to on the requirements page are these first questions, which are Fiverr questions. You can't change them. This is for Fiverr's own marketing and, understanding their clientele. But down below that, you can include your questions, and you only need a couple. So your very first question, you add new question, would be, please upload your final draft of your script, and then remind them again that any changes to the script after the order is placed will incur a re-record fee or additional charges, or however you want to word it. But this is where they will upload the final draft, and I recommend putting final draft in caps so it catches their attention. And then you could add another question below it for any pronunciation tips that they have. If there's any phonetic spelling they can provide you, any recordings of them saying any like uncommon words or made up words, like for an audiobook perhaps. Any other direction or information that you need to do your job well. I wanted to show you my actual questions on one of my gigs. So, my first question is please send me the final draft of your script, noting your preferred tone, pace, and any pronunciation tips if applicable. Please note if there are any script changes once the order is started, an additional fee may be applied for retakes. My second question is regarding background music. So, again, I'm reiterating how much it is, what it's for, what feel or type of music would you like? Otherwise, I'm going to choose it. If they have an example, please send it. And then these two are the most important. I have these set up as multiple choice questions. Yes or no are the only responses. The first one is, did you add commercial or online rights with your order if you need them? Commercial rights are needed for my audio that is used in any non-paid channels to promote your business, such as your website. Commercial rights are this much. The next question, and they must answer these questions yes or no to move on. In addition to commercial rights, online rights, do you need full broadcast or advertisement rights with your order? This is what they are. This is how much they are. Do you need them? Yes or no? So that way, if a client places an order and they do not purchase online rights or commercial rights, but they said, yes, I do need them, my first response is, thank you so much for your order. I noted that you said that you needed commercial rights, but I didn't see it included with your order. So I'm going to add them on for you. And then you send the client the offer to add the commercial rights. So this is just another reminder of the need for permission to use your voice in any online platform. Now, the next page we're going to get to is your gallery. Again, I'm going to show you mine just for ease of use. The very first thing you're going to see here is the video. I don't use the video, although it does tend to increase the engagement with your gig, so this is ultimately your call. The reason I don't use a video on all of my gigs is because the audio quality is compromised. Everything is compressed on Fiverr, unfortunately, so the video or the audio on the video is not the best quality, so I choose to not use them. But they do look a little bit more professional, the gigs, if there's a video attached. However, I do have all three of my audio files. You're allowed 3. I would definitely include 3, and each one is going to have a different name and all these different tags that are associated with it. Now, the tags, when you're prompted to choose tags like that have are relevant is the word I was looking for, are relevant to the specific sample that you posted. So this one was an e-learning demo. So I included education, corporate training, presentation. This one was another informational or a diversity kind of a spot. So I included informational, how-to, diversity. And this one also is named educational, documentary, self-improvement, educational. So you want to have a lot of variety in your tags and in your samples. That way the client can see your range, right? And then down below that, you have 3 slots for images. Now, your very first image or your primary image is going to be what is going to be or on the cover of your gig. Now, you can use a lot of the same sort of style, right, format for your thumbnails, but they do have to be different. Each one has to be different for each gig. So, for example, I use the same sort of format for each of my gigs, but I change the wording in this little bubble here for each one and also the color. So that way it's sort of like branding, right? I'm easily recognizable. Same picture, same sort of layout, but the color and the text is going to be different for each one. That is going to be true for every primary image on each of your gigs. However, the second 2 can be the same for all of the gigs. So if you have one that's got clients on it, like I do here, you can reuse that one on every one of the gigs. Just the primary image needs to be different for each one. Now, I also recommend including both PDFs. I still need to add a second here, but you're like, okay, well, I'm a voice actor. What do I put in there for a PDF? Well, I'll tell you. You can highlight the equipment in your studio, right? What kind of mic do you use? What kind of sound treatment do you use? What kind of interface do you use? What DAW do you use? You can also talk about you a little bit, right? You could talk about where you're from, where you grew up. Another PDF idea, which is probably what I'll put in here, is a step-by-step process in working with me on Fiverr, like how to place an order, what happens after the order, right? Just to give new Fiverr clients, people who have never been on Fiverr before, a little bit of a, peek behind the curtain, like how do orders work here? It builds a little bit of trust between you and the client. So if you think about it, there's probably quite a few things that you can add in there for PDFs, but I would definitely add them. The more you can fill out your gigs, the better that's going to fit you into the algorithm. Because I would think the Fiverr's algorithm would show people who are invested and take the time to fill out their gigs completely to these clients that they've spent millions of dollars to get to their site in the first place, right? So that was a quick rundown on how to set up your pricing and some other things about a gig. And from there, it's pretty much rinse and repeat. So if you decided to create a few different gigs for different types of voiceover, make sure that your pricing is consistent across the board. If you increase prices on one gig, make sure that you do so with all of the others. You want your pricing to be the same, apart from, of course, the audiobook gig. I believe I do have another video here on my channel that goes over how to create audiobook gig pricing, and check that one out. But I think that was pretty much it. If you have any questions or comments about this video, I really appreciate your feedback. If there's anything you would like me to make a video about in the future, please leave those comments down below. Other than that, thank you so much for your time. Please consider liking and subscribing. If you would like to join in one of my live chats every Tuesday at 12 p.m. EST, come back to YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe and click the bell to be notified when I'm live on Tuesday, and come and join a live conversation with me and 50 or so other voice artists every week. So I hope I'll see you there. Bye.